Hello, my people. Today we are going to be talking about the 210 trillion naira NNPC fraud. I am going to break it down for you and I'm going to explain how this fraud happened in 4 different stages.
That the okra tree can possibly be taller than who planted it. Like I said one time, there are not a few people see NNPC as behaving as if they are the country, Nigeria is their parastatal. And so they are above the country. Now my worry is not about the fact that, looking at the period of coverage, it doesn't come under the present GMD. Yeah. But the fact that the GMD is anxious to cover up the fraud suggests that he may also want to continue with business as usual. That is what troubles me. Because, like you rightly said, sir, being given the opportunity to come and explain what happened that you have inherited should be something you should do freely. But time and time again, the GMD is never going to come here. And those figures you mentioned, sir, about charging crude, subsidy on crude, and then NNPC go on to charge subsidy on refined product, it's not just a matter of law. That is the real word for it is fraud, monumental fraud. And the amount involved is far more than what our president is struggling to borrow from foreign countries. If those monies were here, we don't go to borrow this kind of money. So just to thank you, Mr. Chairman, I think we are all in agreement with you. We need to make it clear that the the current constitution, 1999 as amended, gives this committee the power even to arrest the GMD of NNPC if it does not behave. And we have the will to exercise those powers. So that for one, people should know Nigeria cannot be. I want to quote President Tinubu himself. He said, no more excuses. Whether on the issue of security, issues of abuse of power, anybody who is mismanaging so be it, we have a collective duty to bring the person to justice or bring justice to the person wherever he is. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Having exhaustively reviewed the answer by NNPC, 107 trillion, the equivalent of which in dollars is $117 billion. Against available facts and evidence provided by the same NNPC, which go contrary to their claim, the 107 trillion cash call paid to JV partners in 2023. The committee is duty bound to reject this. Why the committee is rejecting this is that 103 trillion as accrued expenses. NNPC declared a revenue of 24 trillion naira between the year 2017 to 2022. The equivalent of which in dollars was $58 billion. And the same NNPC in 2023 alone claimed to have paid 103 trillion to their JV partners based on cash call. 2 things here. 1, cash call was abolished, so to say, if I may use that word, in 2026 by the president. But in 2016, sorry. Crude of 24 trillion. Now you are paying 103 trillion naira to your JV partners without telling us the quantum of crude that justified that payment. And how on earth can anybody give what he or she does not have? Where did NNPC get 103 trillion to have paid to its JV partners in only 1 year? Sir? $117 billion. $117 billion. So as far as this committee is concerned, that figure 103 trillion is unacceptable, it's not justified, because cash call was stopped or abolished in 2016. And now in 2023, you are coming under the umbrella of cash call to say you had paid 103 trillion in just a year. So for that, this committee is not accepting that figure, and that 103 trillion must be returned to Treasury by NNPC, but that shall be concluded when NNPC appears here. At this point, the committee deems it pertinent to come public so that we keep the public abreast and for the public to know we have not just gone quiet. We've been studying, brainstorming, so that when we face the public, we face them from angle of education, information, education, and enlightenment. That is on the 103 trillion. 107 trillion. The 107 trillion, which constitutes receivables by NNPC. Receivables here in accounting stands for assets. Expenses stand for liabilities. We have thrown light on the liability aspect of the liabilities aspect of it. Now the assets. NNPC claimed, and of course still claims, that this 107 receivables are part of that figure was with some defunct banks. None of the banks was mentioned by NNPC. We don't know. NNPC, based on their annual financial statement, which is the Bible or the Quran that this committee is using to extract what we've been talking about, no bank was mentioned. neither amount was mentioned. NNPC did not in any way and form say to communicate to this committee, Bank A, that is defunct, was holding on to amount X to justify this figure of 107. And for that, it is 107 is also not acceptable to the committee. And by the time you put the two figures together, this is what justifies the position of the committee as to saying that NNPC should and must account for 210 trillion. The second issue that the committee also finds it, deems it fit to come to the public on is the issue of subsidy. NNPC was charging, NAPIMS was charging subsidy on petroleum products. While NNPC, NAPIMS was charging subsidy on crude, which is illegal. There is nowhere in the confines or the rules of engagement that subsidy was and is still, and I don't think shall, be allowed to be charged on crude oil. And then NAPIMS was charging between the year 2017 to 2021. NAPIMS was charging subsidy on crude, while NNPC was charging subsidy on other petroleum products. When I say other petroleum products here, refined petroleum products, kerosene, diesel, and what have you. And within the rules of engagement, there is nowhere that NNPC was allowed to charge subsidy on. And each of these, between the years in question, and the facts are there in their annual financial statement between 2017 to 2021. On the side of NAPIMS, if you go on to page 41, note 8, page 38, note 9, page 38, note 9, and page 39, note 9, will show you clearly from the audited financial statement of NNPC, of NAPIMS, where this subsidy was charged against the years in question on crude oil. And on the side of NNPC, on pages 59, note 8.1, page 58, note 8.1 as well, page 57, note 8.1, and page 56, note 8.1. You will see from the audited financial statement of NNPC where this subsidy was charged against refined products. This is unacceptable, it is illegal, and so the committee is not also in acceptance of this. For the purpose of clarity, the committee finds it important today to come to you, that is to the public, with just these two, and to say that if for any reason the present management of NNPC is having difficulty in garnering the wherewithal to provide acceptable answers to this committee, it is better NNPC comes up to it so that the committee will now find ways to subpoena the former officials of NNPC and NAPIMS, because these issues cannot be swept under the carpet. For NAPIMS in particular, NAPIMS is a department by extension of NNPC. So NAPIMS by law cannot maintain an independent account from that of NNPC. But from what we have, NAPIMS has been on record, going by the annual financial statement of NNPC from 2017 to 2023 clearly shows NAPIMS as an independent entity, which of course by law it is not. And so, distinguished colleagues, at this point, I think unless any of the members has a comment to add to this, or further, additional information to bring the public up to date on this long-awaited issue, and within the shortest possible time, the management of NNPC, and as a result of what has just happened today, the magnanimity and understanding that this committee has always extended to NNPC to allow for representation is no more. At any point, this committee invites NNPC, the chief executive of NNPC, should and must appear before this committee, wherever he is or will be, particularly if it is outside the country. He will be where he is only on the grounds of the fact that he is the chief executive of NNPC. If he was not appointed by President Oshiomhole Tinubu, nobody would have called him. But if he's within here, and for some reasons, the number one citizen of the country calls him, or invites him, or assigns him to do whatever, this committee can extend understanding. Otherwise, to be out of the country, I don't think is an excuse, will not be accepted by this committee anymore as an excuse.
Why people will they find money for this country? And there is a fraud allegedly of 210 trillion naira. This money is more than all of Nigerians' national debt put together. This money can make $1 equal to 1 naira. This thing has been happening since 2017 till 2023. So today we are going to look into it and we are going to know how this money vanish, who and who is responsible, wetin happen wey make people know say this kind of money was even available. Today we will break down everything in simple English, how the money disappeared, the 4 major fraud methods that we're using. I want to also let all of us know that this matter, now APC they expose themselves. APC is dragging APC on this matter, and the committee wey dey in charge of this whole thing, it is still an APC chairman that is heading it. First, let's look at the first fraud method, the fake 1 trillion naira payment. NNPC claimed that they paid 103 trillion naira to a joint venture partner in 1 year in 2023. It sounds nice in your ear, Abi. Calm down. Let us look at the numbers together, then you will understand. First, they claimed to pay a money they never earned. Between 2017 and 2022, that is 6 years, NNPC has earned a total of 24 trillion naira in 6 years. So how come suddenly in 2023 you paid a total of 103 trillion naira? That is times 4 of the money you generated in 6 years. And I say, Amabi, it's like saying that me now that my salary is 100,000 naira, I'm now telling people that I pay rent of 6 million naira. How? Where is the money coming from? That is exactly what NNPC is telling us. Secondly, they used a payment system that does not exist anymore. You see this money, this 103 trillion naira, they are using a payment system that does not exist. Now, NNPC claimed they paid the 103 trillion naira through what is called cash call. Now, what is cash call? Cash call is a method where NNPC and other partners put money together in order to achieve a common goal. So if they want to buy this or they want to invest in this, NNPC go bring their own put. This one go bring, this one go bring. Then they will use that one to set it up. And you know the funny thing, this method has been stopped since 2016. No, they have ended it since 2016. So how come in 2023 they are using this method to pay this money? They refuse to mention the name of who and who collected this money. Oh yeah, now if una say una pay money give JW partners, joint venture partners, which joint venture partner collected the money? Which crude did you use it to buy? What is the volume of crude you bought? Where is the receipt? Where is the documentation? They did not say anything. No name, no crude volume, no paper, no documentation. Another part of this story that is really annoying is that they have refused to appear before the Senate committee. This has now made the Senate committee chairman to say that the NNPC GMD must appear whenever they call him to come for a meeting. Because each time they call for meeting, is either he's here, he's out of the country. They said now, the only reason why he will be absent in their meeting is when the president calls him, so that he can come and explain this thing to everybody. Now, let me summarize this first fraud. NNPC claimed to pay 103 trillion naira, money they never had, because if they were able to generate only 24 trillion naira in 6 years, how did they generate 103 trillion naira in 1 year, 2023? Now, they used a payment system that ended in 2016. Now, they have refused to mention the name of the joint partners that collected the money. There is no document proving it. So finally, we can say this is completely allegedly a fraud. Now, the second fraud is a fraud of 107 trillion naira. You see, this one is very funny because now old method, then you collect this money. Now, listen, instead of saying that they paid money out, just like the first fraud, they now say that this particular fraud, people are owing them. Oh yeah, very simple. Who and who is owing you? They say banks. that have shut down are owing them. Hey, on this here, banks that have shut down are owing you people. Okay, no problem. Which bank? What are the account numbers? Give us the payment schedule. Give us the date of transaction. Give us the credit ledger. Or yeah, give us the CBN record. My brother, my sister. Nothing. Nothing. There is no evidence, no record, no trace of the money anywhere. The funny thing is that their own audited statement does not even show this money. Senate has checked the books. Senate have checked their notes. Senate has checked their financial summary. Senate has checked their annual account. But there is no result. This means that they have manufactured it. Because my brother, if you say people are owing you, you should be able to tell us the name of the people. You should be able to tell us when the thing happened. There should be a receipt. If the bank owes you 107 trillion naira and the bank has collapsed, you must bring CBN liquidation reports, proof of transfer, legal communication, court filings, but you people have provided nothing. So now, you can practically say now they have just cooked up this debit, cooked up this lie by making us believe that, oh, the money day somewhere. Say you go come, which is a lie. In fact, this scam bad past the first one. Why? Because it pretends to be a money coming into Nigeria, creating false hope. It creates an illusion of incoming funds that will never come. It buries what has been stolen. So that nobody go ask. We say then they owe us, keep quiet. Summary of this fraud too is that NNPC claimed 107 trillion naira is owed them, but refused to name the bank, refused to show documents, and they created fake debit to use in covering the money. Now, the third way they take carry out this fraud is what is called fake subsidy on crude oil. First, let me explain what is this subsidy now. Subsidy, okay, let me give an example so that will drive it home better. Now, this mic, let's say this mic is 1,000 naira, and everybody in this country now is using this mic. So you want to buy this mic, the original price is 1,000 naira. Now government now decide now to subsidize this mic. Government now say we are going to pay a subsidy of 700 naira. Now what does that mean? It means that now government is paying 700 naira for this mic. So any person that wants to buy this mic will pay 300 naira. That is subsidy. So they did fake subsidy on crude oil. That is, they were collecting money from the government to pay for what people are still paying the complete money for.
Of subsidy. NNPC was charging, NAPIMS was charging subsidy on petroleum products. While NNPC, NAPIMS was charging subsidy on crude, which is illegal. There is nowhere in the confines or the rules of engagement that subsidy was and is still, and I don't think shall, be allowed to be charged on crude oil. And then NAPIMS was charging between the year 2017 to 2021. NAPIMS was charging subsidy on crude, while NNPC was charging subsidy on other petroleum products. When I say other petroleum products here, refined petroleum products, kerosene, diesel, and what have you. And within the rules of engagement, there's nowhere that NNPC was allowed to charge subsidy on. And each of these, between the years in question, and the facts are there in their annual financial statement between 2017 to 2021. On the side of NAPIMS, if you go on to page 41 note 8, page 38 note 9, page 38 note 9, and page 39 note 9 will show you clearly from the audited financial statement of NNPC, of NAPIMS, where this subsidy was charged against the years in question on crude oil. And on the side of NNPC, on pages 59 note 8.1, page 58 note 8.1 as well, page 57 note 8.1, and page 56 note 8.1, you will see from the audited financial statement of NNPC where this subsidy was charged against refined products. This is unacceptable, it is illegal, and so the committee is not also in acceptance of this.
Here is the key thing about it, is that subsidy is meant for only finished product, not for raw product. Only finished products like kerosene, petrol, and diesel, not for crude oil. Crude oil is a raw material and you cannot subsidize a raw material. You go only subsidize the finished product where people they use. But NAPS created a fake subsidy on crude oil from 2017 to 2021. This is completely illegal. It has never existed. No policy supports it. This is completely illegal and there is no policy that supports it. The question I want to ask is now, which person is consuming the crude oil that they are now putting subsidy on the crude oil? My brother man, this is a fake cost they put up in order to be able to collect money from NNPC account and share. Secret illegal subsidy on refined product. Now, the thing is that NNPC has already charged subsidy on refined product like petrol, diesel, and kerosene. But this time they will go and do another subsidy secretly and illegally. No authorization, not being declared publicly, not documented properly, and not backed up by any policy. These deductions run up into billions of naira. Why is subsidy the perfect scam method? It is because the amount that can be collected at once with subsidy, my brother, is plenty. You can just write 500 billion subsidy, 2 trillion naira subsidy. And you know, the thing is, everybody knows, any person that just sees a subsidy will not even want to ask which account the money was sent to, where was it sent to, and all the rest. They will just agree. My brother, this one, armed robbery with suit and biro. Summary of this fraud 3: illegal subsidy deduction, fake subsidy on crude oil from 2017 to 2021, never existed, completely illegal. Hidden subsidy or refined product, no approval, no transparency. Both were tools used to steal and hide money. Now, let us talk about the final fraud method they use. Now, it's called the NAPI Illegal Independent Account. What is NAPI? NAPI is just a department under NNPC. It is not a company, it is not a corporation, not an agency. It is just a department, just like your normal HR, admin department, security department. By law, NAPI cannot keep its own separate money. Everything must go into the main NNPC account so that when they audit, everybody go see them. But the Senate discovered that NAPI operates a separate independent account. They have their own separate account, they have their own financial records, they have their own income, they have their own transaction, they even have their own audit statement. This is illegal. It is against the Petroleum Act. It is against NNPC financial rules and also basic accounting principle. Why is this dangerous, my brother? When the department acts like a separate company, 3 things can happen. 1, money disappears without NNPC seeing it, since they have their own account. They take money, they move money, they hide money, they spend money, they pay money. NNPC no go know anything. Secondly, no one checks on them. Since they stand alone, they have their own things. Nobody comes to audit them. Nobody checks their accounts. Nobody even knows what they spend money on. Nobody knows how much they generate. Thirdly, it defeats government oversight. Government no fit see wetin dey happen for there. Government no know wetin dey happen for the account. Government knows nothing. In fact, when government comes to audit NNPC account, they don't know that there is another account. They will only audit NNPC and go. So NAPI will hide the money. In fact, I see this as a hole where they pack money and hide. And I think this one is one of the main things that has helped this fraud to be very successful. Why? Because the illegal NAPI account made it easy to hide the 103 trillion naira fake cash call, also the 107 trillion naira fake receivable, the illegal subsidy on crude oil, and the secret subsidy on refined products. All the money the Trace and Goodies NAPI account. See, allegedly, all this money later found a hole inside the house of illegal NAPI account. Summary of this fraud: 4. NAPI acts as an independent company, which is wrong. Kept illegal secret accounts, totally wrong. Hide money for years, helped cover all other fraud. Has been operating since 2017 till 2023. This money now we are seeing is the one that they can trace. So what about the ones that could not be traced? My people, this is the reason why Nigeria is poor. Not because of our population, not because of tax, not because of our resources, but because of this corruption. That is why Nigeria is poor and they are the way they are. Now, let me explain this. 210 trillion naira can be used to fix road, can be used to build. Hi, it pain me. It can be used to build a hospital in all of the 774 local governments in Nigeria. Now, 10 million naira can be shared to 10 million families. This money can still give us light. This money can be used to build refineries. In fact, this money can be used to make $1 equal to 1 naira. But instead, this money has disappeared. We borrow money from China, IMF, even World Bank. My brother, the problem of Nigeria is corruption. Fight corruption and things will be better for me and for you. Now, the final summary of all this whole matter. First, we have the fake 103 trillion naira. We have another fake 107 trillion naira claimed that banks are owing us. Number 3, the illegal subsidy. And number 4, the illegal NAPI account that has been used to be hiding money. All these contributes to 210 trillion naira lost. Now, I want to ask, where is EFCC and ICPC? Why are they not picking up these people? We should be hearing wow in everywhere. Because these people cannot be human beings that will be doing this kind of thing. Secondly, why is this thing coming out now? Why is APC people exposing APC people? Why is it that now? Is there Oh God. Now, the people that were in charge from 2017 to 2023, where are all of them? They should be answering. Who will be arrested for this? What are they considering? How are we getting back this money? Or are we just allowing it to go like that? Then finally, the investigation ended in 2022. What is happening to 2020? Ended in 2023. What is happening to 2024 and 2025?
That money will never come out.
210 trillion naira.
That money is gone. Forget it.
But so you know that money actually happens to be, it's higher than the whole debt Nigeria is owing. And they're saying
more than even. If we had that money now, naira be 1 naira to $1.
How can we not account for 210 trillion? And this accumulated from 2017 to 2023.
Since APC came into office, thank God they are the one revealing all these things. Thank God they are the one. Imagine the amount of money that have gone down the drain in Nigeria. I was thinking they would call on the Minister of Petroleum to come and explain. As long as they did not do that, and they are not holding anybody accountable, forget it, that money. All this one, they are blowing hot air. Nobody will be held accountable. Nothing. Forget it.
But they say calling on the Minister of Petroleum.
Yes.
If you check the term that we're looking at this point in time, from 2017 to 2023, we have the letter president. So are we going to, how are we going to go
Those
on?
people are very clever. They are very clever. That's why I told you that they are being clever by half. The last time I heard of this issue, they said since 10 years ago. That means 2015 to 2023, or 2025. That was 10 years ago. You want me to believe that since 2 years plus now, there is no financial infractions in NNPC? Is that what you want me to believe here? Why is it that all the presidents always wanted to be Minister of Petroleum? Why? They cannot be Minister of Agriculture. They cannot be Minister of Education. It's always Minister of Petroleum, all of them. And they are not even accountable. You can see now. You cannot call them to account as accounting officer in that ministry. So why are they there? Under your watch, such an amount of money is missing. And nobody sees it as anything. They deliberately said it is up to 2023. Let them come and tell me that this present administration have not committed any financial infraction in that ministry. Let them come and tell me. They avoided including this other 2023 to 2025. Why? So that will tell you that these things are deliberate. If you are missing such an amount of money, Fina, How can your country grow?
It's painful, barrister. You know, it hurts me because I can recall earlier when our debt ratio turned out to be a certain amount of money, and then, you know, after a proper calculation with the number of persons who believe we have in Nigeria, it was interesting to know that each household, you're owing 500 and 1,000 and some 19, you know, fraction added to it as a debt you and I had to pay. But now, from what we saw on the cover page of the National Daily, if we're to go on with the recent approved money from the National Assembly that were to borrow, our debt will rise to 194 trillion naira, and we cannot account for 210 trillion naira. That's a humongous amount.
And all of us are just going about as if nothing happened.
Do you think that Nigeria is having figure problem? Are we having figure problem at this point?
Oh, no, it's only Ogbobolo that is having that problem,
See,
not Nigeria.
my people, finally, the problem of Nigeria is not policies, is not population, is not even that tax. It is corruption, bad leaders. My people, I beg, don't forget to like, share, and drop a comment. Till we meet again in another class.